Do you like hot sauce? Then you'll love Great White Hot Sauce. It's a small batch, handmade hot sauce, made especially for you. So if you want some badass hot sauce, go to www.trygreatwhite.com. Well, here we are, episode 86. And on this episode, I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. Quite a while, actually. It's going to be a show full of Did You Knows? And maybe some trivia for you listeners. Keep you occupied on whatever journey you're taking when you're listening to this podcast. Or not taking, just chilling. So sit back, relax, enjoy a fun fact-filled show. Say that 3 times in a row. I'm lucky I said it once. Enjoy the show.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The KOFB Studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast, hosted by Scott McLean. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
There we go. Thank you, Amanda, once again for that wonderful introduction as usual. Young Amanda will be heading back to college soon. Continue her further studies up at FSU. And she is demanding to redo her intros. So, I don't call her Amanda, I call her Demanda sometimes. And what the girl wants, what my daughter wants, usually she gets. I say usually. But so we'll have a new recording for start of our third year. I'm flying solo tonight, no Jack, no problem. I'm used to it. This guy, you get these temperamental co-hosts who become egocentric and self-important, and they think that they are the show. And oh wait, that's me. We're talking about Jack. Yeah, I could say the same for him. I could say the same for Jack. But Johnny Cash, not the for the podcast listeners, not the actual Johnny Cash. That would be weird. He would be messaging me from heaven. But my good friend and lifelong friend, John Cash. Good to see you, buddy. Happy New Year. So, yeah, flying solo tonight. We're streaming live right now over Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, DLive. I don't know what else. Some other things. One other thing. I don't know. And YouTube. How can I forget YouTube? Go to the YouTube channel, Milk Crates and Turntables YouTube channel. Subscribe if you like it. And hit that subscribe button. Hit the alert bell. Tells you when I go live, when we go live, when Jack Calabrese decides to show up. But you know what? I got used to it. I used to do these solo shows like I'm just going to be blunt, like I usually am. I'd be fucking terrified. Like, fuck. You're really kind of on a tightrope without a net. when you're doing it solo. You know, when you have someone doing it with you, it makes it easier. You can bounce things off people and off your co-host, and you can kind of rely on them to pick up some of the slack. But when you're flying solo, I have to do at least an hour. I would be disappointed in myself if I didn't do at least an hour. An hour used to be terrifying. I would not know what I was going to talk about, and you get in your own head. You head screw yourself, and you start saying, what if I run out of things to say, like halfway through? Like, how am I going to do it? Well, you know what? Do it enough times. Shit, I can freestyle for 2 hours. Not that I want to do that tonight. No, tonight's going to be a good show. What did I forget? Did I forget anything? No, we're going to be redoing a couple of things on the intros for the start of the third year. 3 years I've been doing this. Jesus, 86 shows. My buddy Bob Doucette. I actually put the phone number up. I don't usually do that on the live stream. Maybe I'll take a call or two. I don't know. Like a radio show. But isn't that really, excuse me, I got some high voltage Bustelo coffee that I'm doing. So might be yapping for a while, but I won't be sleeping anytime soon. If you've never had Bustelo and you like coffee, it's an espresso actually. Get it, work on it. But yeah, so I have some music kind of did you knows. Not kind of, they are. Bill Green, my buddy, Happy New Year. Go to his YouTube channel. If he messages it in, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I will put it out there. Go check out his YouTube channel. I'm in a giving mood in 2023. I have my friend Cynthia, who does True Hauntings and Scary Stories. Go check out her podcast. She does extremely well. I met her 2 Halloweens ago. She did a show with us, and I edited her YouTube channel for a little while. And yeah, so go check out that podcast if you like. What is it? What did I say? The coffee's already kicking in. Let me see. Bill Green is youtube.com/@wildbillgreen. He has some great nature videos. If you're into that, he does a really good job. I actually, I'm not a complimenter in that sense. Like I give people credit what credit's due, and that's about it. Hey, but this guy, Bill Green, does a great job editing his videos and setting up his shots, and he's out there in the middle of the woods. I think one episode I watched, he was looking for his brother in the woods. His brother was hunting. It just seemed funny, like, hey, my brother's out here somewhere, and he's in the middle of fucking nowhere, but he knows where he is. That's the funny thing. You put me out there, buddy, I have no sense of direction. You put me in a square room, I only find 3 corners. I'm telling you, I have no fucking sense of direction. I actually got lost in the woods one time. I don't know if you've ever had that experience of getting what they call turned around. I was with my dog, big German Shepherd, you know, and just went into the woods. I followed this trail and kind of wasn't paying attention, and kind of got off the beaten path. And I tell you what, I fucking turned around and I was like, where the hell am I? I know this isn't music related. I'm just kind of spitballing because I'm solo, but I actually got freaked the fuck out. That is a scary, creepy, probably creepier, more creepier than scary experience to be turned around in the woods. It's real. It's real. You saw the Sopranos episode when they're out in the, out in New Jersey, the Barrens, and Paulie and what's his name? Get lost. They get lost out there in the woods. Christopher, best episode ever. But yeah, getting turned around in the woods. Bill Green, anyways, out there. Check out his YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@WildBillGreen. And my friend Cynthia Sayre, True Hauntings and Scary Stories. Check out her podcast. I'll promote anybody. I don't care. I'm all about it. I don't make any money doing this. I don't need the money, as I always say. I'd rather have fun doing it than worry about financial, issues. And Dave Phillips, my buddy Dave Phillips just came in. Another music guy. Old school music guy. I won't. I was gonna throw a shot at him, but funny way, but no. Dave's a good dude. He's a nice dude. He likes Matchbox 20, but I kind of look past that. Yeah. Daniel Bassam Jr., what's up, buddy? Happy New Year. Welcome to the live stream. So let me get started here. We got some, I have about, 40 music facts. Now, you might know some of this. Some of this you might not. Hopefully, most of it you don't know. And I'm actually, entertaining you and giving you some good music info you might not have had before. But let me start off. If you're a Pogues fan, so the format is going to change a little bit. I'm always trying to improve the show, the podcast, and move it along instead of keeping it stale. So this year we're going to start off every show with some current music news when Jack gets back, or my friends, my really good friends who I absolutely am happy to have them into my music life. My friends Mark Smith and Luke Colicchio from the Music Relish podcast. Go check out their podcast. It's that's for serious music listeners. They do deep dives, and I can't say it enough. Those guys, they know a lot. As does their host of their podcast, Perry Didovich. He's although I think he's a Russian bot, and I never see him. Just pops up on the screen sometimes in the message. But anyways, so yeah, we're gonna change the format a little. We're gonna start off the show every episode with current music news. I think we've over 2 years we've covered 86 different episodes, which I had said this when this podcast started. I had a talk with Jack and I said, we can't do specific subjects every episode because eventually we're going to run out of things to do. You can go on digging stuff up. In the first season, that's what we did. We just kind of did hardcore, right to the point. Let's talk about best guitar solos. Let's talk about Van Halen. Let's talk about, whatever we did. And I kind of shook it up the second year and started throwing in the Did You Knows and stuff. And this year we're going to throw in some current news. We're going to keep, people listen. The demographic of this podcast is, it's baby boomers for the most part and millennials. I don't see any Gen Xers or Gen Zers. Is there a Gen Y? I don't know. I don't see them listening to this, only because we don't really go past the 2000s, the early 2000s. What do they call that? The O's, the OOs? You got the 10s, the 20s now we're in. We don't really go into that, which is fine. So we stick to our demographic. But we want to keep things updated. We want to give people current news. And this, I found this the other day. If you're a fan of the Pogues, Shane McGowan is the lead singer, and he recently came out and admitted that if you saw the documentary, you see him in a wheelchair. Young guy. He's not that old. I mean, young in the sense of probably in his 60s. But Shane McGowan, the frontman of the Pogues, has confirmed that he is suffering from encephalitis, or inflammation of the brain. Dude's only 65 years old. He's only 6 years older than me. But what a life, though. Good Lord, that dude. I always say that Morrissey, everybody that knows me knows he's my favorite artist, the Smiths. But Morrissey, I always say, is one of the most brilliant lyricists in the history of music, and that's covering a lot of music. The guy is just insanely clever with his lyrics. But Shane MacGowan is really, really close behind. If there's one in 1A, Shane MacGowan, his lyrics, and he was just, it's amazing how that talent just finds its way out of you, out of some people. And he grew up, he's basically a punk in the streets, but he is definitely a poet in his own way. And listen to the Pogues, listen to the lyrics, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Read the lyrics. Read the lyrics. He was hospitalized last month, but he's back home now. He put out an Instagram post. In social media, I always say it's a blessing and a curse. Now these artists can reach out, whoever they are, they can reach out to their fans and directly tell them how they're doing instead of relying on some rag to track them down and force them to do an interview just to get the information out of them. But he posted on his Instagram, "Hi, friends, I'm sitting here suffering from encephalitis." That's to the point. He does it in a video. He says, "The light is killing me, but I wanted to wish you Happy New Year and Happy Christmas and many more, and all the luck in the world and all the love." He didn't say, though, what's causing the encephalitis. So but the fact that he has it kind of just sucks. So, yeah, I started off on a down note, but that's okay. We're going to pick it up from here. So let me get into it. Some of my favorite shows, the Did You Knows. Okay? Start off with this one. Did you know? Oh, it's my voice. I don't care. Starting 3 years of this, I don't care at this point. I used to be so concerned with how I came across and how I sounded. Jack still can't listen to himself. He still can't listen to the podcasts. He says, "Oh, I lived it. I was in the moment of it. I know what I said." That's not the point. You re-listen to see what you did wrong and what you can improve. But he's just a co-host. He doesn't have to be, all into it. I am a big critic of myself. So let me start that again. Did you know that flowers can grow faster by listening to music, because music is able to speed up seed germination and enhance plant growth? Let me see. Yeah, I know that John Cassius posted in a comment about two mafia guys walking in the woods at night, and one says, "I'm scared," and the other one says, "You're scared. I have to walk out of here alone." I've used that. Actually came from a truly tasteless joke. I think it was voted the most tasteless joke, like one of the most tasteless jokes in history. And it involved, I'm just going to say it involved a pedo, which made it totally tasteless. Like scary, ugly, but in a warped, demented way. Like you just have to laugh at it. Anyways, getting back to the show. Yeah. So let me see. Did you know your heartbeat changes and mimics the music you hear? Right? If you're an athlete or you played sports, even if it wasn't organized sports, if it was just pickup, you go into the game, you throw on some, maybe you throw on some Stones, some Metallica, because you want to get your rhythm up, right? And I believe your heart does kind of go along with it. Your adrenaline starts to pump. And what pumps that? Everything centers around your heart, right? I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor. What am I saying? Anyways, did you know the type of music you listen to affects the way you perceive the world? Imagine that. So pay attention to what you're listening to. That makes sense, though. It makes sense. You're listening to punk rock? Fuck everybody. Right? Fuck the world, FTW. You're listening to disco? Everything's happy. Everything's happy. Right? You get the I see that. A lot of people start to take on their music's persona and how they dress and how they act. Seen it. We've all seen it. If you grew up a baby boomer, you saw it from the 70s, the hippies at the end of the 60s into the 70s, how they dressed, and then cross over to disco and kind of becomes your persona, music you listen to. Then punk, then new wave. We went through a lot of changes in our lives. We had the best music. Still do. Did you know the world's costliest instrument, a Stradivarius violin, was sold in 2011 for $15.9 million? Jesus Christ. For a fucking violin? What? That's just stupid money. That's ridiculous. Just ignorant money. You're laying down that much. I mean, Tchaikovsky should have. I'm not going to say it. I was going to make a truly tasteless joke. Like, that better have some DNA on it. You know what I'm saying? Even that's gross. That's gross. Moving on. Did you know a song that gets stuck in your head is called, as we all know, an earworm? Earworm. Few people that don't understand my Boston accent. Earworm. Earworm. And the only way to remove it is to replace it with another one. Another song. So you're just replacing one earworm with another. John Cash calls it, the Stradivarius is just a fiddle. A fucking expensive fiddle, my friend. It's an expensive fiddle. Let's see. Did you know? I have 40 of these, so buckle in. I'm reading all of them, and I'm only on number 6. Ugh. Did you know music triggers activity within the same brain structure that releases dopamine during sex and eating? Dopamine may be a feel-good chemical released by the brain, and music triggers that. Same as it comes out during sex and eating. Now, let's see. If you were going to put those in order, any particular or your order of sex, eating, and listening to music, how would you rank them? How would you rank them? Sex, eating, and music. What order would you put those in? Sure, everybody has a different one. Well, you only have certain options, but I think there's a lot of people that would put eating before sex. Don't look at me. Don't think of me when I say that. I lost 50 pounds. Leave me alone. Now it's the other way around. I used to. Anyways, can't be that open about this. I'll keep that to myself. All right, did you know only about 1 in every 10,000 people, that's 0.01%, has perfect pitch? Perfect pitch is the power to spot a note just by hearing it with no reference note. Damn. That's hard. Yeah. Let's see. Did you know for every US $1,000 worth of music sold, the average musician makes just $23.40 out of that $1,000. Means 2.34%. So they go out, they make this music, bust their ass, they pay for studio time, they pay for a producer, they paid for the labeling, they pay for the marketing. It all comes out of their their contract, right? And out of every $1,000 of music, the artist only gets $23.40. But fucking McDonald's workers want $22 an hour. Go fuck yourselves. Sorry. I'm just saying. Think of that. Put that into perspective. Fucker writes a song, puts his heart into it, does everything he can to get this thing published, to get it out into the market. Some of these people go into debt, and they only get $23.40. But some cheesy high school kid with pimples wants $22 an hour. You know what? I'm not even going to say high school anymore. Some slacker, some 25-year-old slacker wants $23, $22 an hour to flip a burger. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. More rants like that coming, I'm sure. But think about that, right? Did you know in 2015, astronaut Chris Hadfield released the first album of songs recorded entirely in space? That was a boring fucking album. Look at that. I didn't listen to it, but I could probably tell you. It's a fucking boring album. Can't be playing that many instruments up in space, right? What did he bring? A freaking little keyboard and a kazoo? That's all they would let him take on the ship. Let me see. My buddy Dave Phillips, king of the 45s, just messaged in. Sex and music can be done at the same time. Eating and music can also be done at the same time. Doesn't eating and sex go together? I should really read these comments before I read them out loud. Unless my mind went somewhere else with that. Came across to me like, I know what he's saying. Okay. Let's see. Did you know the longest song title in the world belongs to a Swedish group called Rednecks? And, let's see. Yeah, a Swedish group called Rednecks. And the title is 305 characters long, including spaces that are one long ass, and that's one long ass song title. I don't know what this fuck. You know what? People don't even do it. I should proofread these before I do it because evidently this generation doesn't fucking proofread anything. Anything just gets printed on the internet. Anyways, this is a long ass fucking song title. It's got 305 characters. Okay, great. Stupid. But I was the one that read it, so how does that make me look? Did you know the longest recorded piece of music is by a band called Bull of Heaven? The playtime of the song, Chosen, the playing time of the song, Chosen Priest and the Apostle, is infinite space is over 2 months long. So the name of the song is Chosen Priest and the Apostle of Infinite Space. And it's over fucking 2 months long. What? I thought the fucking album Made in Space was boring. How long would it take you to listen to that thing if you were driving to work? So you get hey, what are you listening to? Hey, I'm listening to the Milk Crates and Turntables podcast. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, you should listen to it. What are you listening to? Well, I'm listening to Chosen Priest and the Apostle of Infinite Space. Really? Yeah? Yeah. 2 weeks later. Hey, what are you listening to? Milk Crates and Turntables. What about you? Chosen Priest and the Apostle of Infinite Space. Isn't that the same song you were listening to 2 weeks ago? Oh, yeah, it's 2 months long. What the fuck? How do you remember what the beginning of the song sounded like fucking 1 month into it? Fucking people. I'll say what Jack says. Fucking morons. Jack got a little heated on the Christmas show. He liked using the word fucking moron. 2 words. Let's see. Did you know, like humans, birds can learn music while they're still in the egg stage? Oh. Don't they fucking sing anyways? Did you know Mozart was only 5 years old when he wrote his first piece of music? Yeah. My friend Laura says, Slow Ride, the long version. Yeah, that might be the longest song. That's up there, babe. That's up there. Yeah, I called you babe. I'm not politically correct. My friend Laura doesn't care. Yeah. Because I'm a toxic male. I still call women babe. What's up? So what? Turn my show off. I don't care. Come after me. Can't cancel what isn't out there. All right, let me see. Did you know, contrary to popular belief, speaking of Mozart, Mozart's middle name was not Amadeus. We've been lied to. We have been lied to. His full name was Johann Chris Thomas Wolf Genghis the Ophelus Mozart. Where the fuck did they come up with Amadeus then? Made that up. Damn. See? That's just not right. Was it his nickname? Oh. Somebody research that. Let me know. I'll get Jack. No, Jack doesn't research anything. Jack makes shit up sometimes. I swear he does. He won't admit it, but I think he does. Jack makes shit up sometimes. Let's see. Did you know? You know what? This is one of those studies that the fucking government pays some laboratory. They give them money, research money, to study termites. Probably millions of dollars went into this study that tells you that termites eat wood. These idiots wrote twice faster. Are you fucking kidding me? I just got done saying that these people do not proofread. And 2 facts later, this is how this is written. This is how this is written. Termites eat wood twice faster when taking note of heavy metal. Does that make, am I wrong here? How about twice as fast? Twice faster. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not an English major. But termites eat wood twice faster when taking note of heavy metal. And they don't even say like heavy metal music. This generation is just fucking dead on the vine. They are dead on the vine. Journalism is, it is just dead and buried twice. Ugh. Anyways, let's see. This is actually a pretty interesting one. Did you know that Monaco's National Orchestra is bigger than their army is? Right? And these are the details of this. So to put Monaco's size into perspective, it's smaller than New York Central Park, but houses more than 12,000 millionaires in less than a square mile. So there's that. It also has, it's also one of the most secure cities in the world, with 1 police officer for every 100 residents and a 24-hour video surveillance system that covers the entire island. And seeing as how the place is so small means its army is small, consisting of only 82 soldiers. At one point, which made it smaller than the military orchestra, which consisted of 85 musicians. Jesus. I guess that's a pretty good job, though. I guess if you're one of only 82 soldiers on Monaco, you probably got it made. Get some status. And speaking of violins, or as my friend John Cash calls them, fiddles, did you know the violin contains about 70 separate pieces of wood? Yeah, violin contains about 70 separate pieces of wood. That still doesn't mean it's worth fucking $15.3 million. That's bullshit. That's stupid money. Stupid people. You'd rather buy 15 million. You know what? Oh. Anyways. Did you know the earliest known example of musical notation was found on a clay tablet where modern-day Iraq now stands and dates back to about 1800 BC. I swear there was aliens back then. You cannot tell me otherwise. Did you know Elvis's favorite collectible? I think a lot of people know this. Elvis's favorite collectible. I'm gonna ask you, the audience. Give you a minute to think about it. What was Elvis's favorite collectible? What do you think it was? You know, you've heard about this. But I guess it depends on how big of an Elvis fan you are. But this is one of those things that's been out there for a while. Bill Green says guns. Nope. But there's a connection. There's a connection to guns and what he collects, or what he collected, or what his favorite collectible was. So Elvis's favorite collectible was, yep, Bill Green said it, badges, police badges. He collected a different police badge for every city he performed in. Elvis wants what Elvis gets. Or Elvis gets what Elvis wants, is more like it. Let's see. Did you know approximately 1/3 of recorded CDs ever sold has been pirated? Yeah. Take it to the high seas, baby. Take them to the high seas. No laws out there. Let me see. Store connection. Anyway. Did you know the MP3 was developed in the early 90s and stands for MPEG Audio Layer 3? Okay. That's real useless information. Did you know the harmonica is the world's best-selling instrument? You might have known that. The nano guitar is the world's smallest guitar and is the size of, I'll let you think about that. It's the world's smallest guitar. Think fucking tiny. And it is the size of a human cell. Jeez, what? Okay. All right. Somebody had a lot of time on their hands. And evidently an extra human cell. I think a lot of people might know this. Did you know John Lennon's eyesight was so poor that he was legally blind without his glasses? Yeah. Let's see. Did you know that Chris Martin of Coldplay, lead singer of Coldplay, plays guitar and draws with his right hand, but writes with his left hand? I kind of have something like that going on. I throw up my right hand, but I cut my food with my left hand. I hold the fork with my right and I cut with my left. I don't do that switch over thing. I shoot pool lefty with my left hand. I kick with my left foot, but I'm mostly right-handed. Yeah. Well, my oldest brother was a lefty. My middle brother was a righty, so I guess I got the best of both worlds. But they both used to beat the hell out of me, so until I got bigger, then I fought back. Let's see. Did you know the Irish band U2 aren't really all Irish? Yeah. Adam Clayton, bass player, and The Edge were both born in England. I think some people knew. Did you know that Guns N' Roses have had 21 full-time band members since they started in 1985? 21 full-time band members since 1985. That has a lot to do with Axl Rose, though. And he went out as Guns N' Roses, and Buckethead used to play guitar for them. I know that. And there's a few other really good artists. Anyways, did you know the best-selling album of all time is Michael Jackson's? Yep, you guessed it. Thriller. With an estimated 51 to 65 million copies sold. Now think about this. Prince sold 120 million albums, I think. Fucking Thriller. That one album covered half of Prince's whole catalog. That's insane. That's insane. Let's see, where are we? All right, we're good on. This is not a 2-hour show, by the way. I've been doing those lately, 90 minutes, 2 hours. I think last week it was almost 3 hours, which I love doing that when I'm talking with the guys from Music Relish. Jack won't go that long. Jack's stamina starts to fade around minute 48. And me and Jack have to have a little talk. He likes to leave the show early now. I don't know if I'm digging that. I don't know. Not that I need him for the, this day in music and all that, but I don't know. I'll leave it to the audience to decide. Is it kind of tacky to do that? Like, here I am, do my time, then I leave? What? I don't know. Might have to leave it to the audience, although he's going to fucking do what he wants to do anyways, and I will punish him. Because it's my show, my rules, my ball. I'm taking it home. Yeah, John Cash, slacker, is right. Thank you. Fucking thank you. And I'm going to tell him you called him a slacker. Oh, Bill Green. Yeah, it's hilarious when he leaves. Oh, good. Keep encouraging that behavior. Thanks for your support. You know what? I just pumped up his fucking YouTube channel. And then he goes and basically sides with the enemy, Bill Green. He sides with the enemy. I got bamboozled. I got hoodwinked. John Cash is on my side. Yeah, that's right. Bill Green says Jack sucks. That's oh boy. You know who's buttering your bread tonight, buddy. You know it. Uh-huh. Jack sucks. I'm going to tell him that, too. He's going to get some feedback coming to him tomorrow. No, Jack actually, he's not here. I know. It's like I make excuses for him. You know what? I can beat the shit out of him all I want because I'm like the older brother in the out of the two, and I give it to, he gives it back, but in the end, I treat him like a little brother, and I can beat the hell out of him, but nobody else can. Well, only the fans. No, Jack is actually fantastic. Bill Green is like the fence walker. Is just have a YouTube channel, The Fence Walker. Like, Jesus. Now I'm confused. Okay, Jack's funny when he leaves. It's hilarious. Then Jack sucks. No, Jack's actually fantastic. Make up my mind, Bill Green. YouTube channel. Wild Bill Green. Yeah. My friend Allison. I love Allison. She just popped in. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Allison. You just made my podcast. Hey. You know, I was going to go back, way back to 1997. Yeah. Let's see. Moving on. Did you know that since the launch of iTunes in January 2001, over 10 billion songs have been sold digitally? It's unbelievable. And that's going to keep growing. That's for sure. Because I don't know what the future is, but digital, what comes after digital? What do you think? I mean, the music can already be pulled out of the cloud. I don't know what's going to top that. But we didn't know what was going to top albums either. So, let's see. Did you know, speaking of downloads, almost 40 billion, so you figure 10 billion songs have been sold digitally, but almost 40 billion songs are downloaded illegally every year. Yep. Like I always say, I got 10,000 songs off of Napster. 10,000 back in the day. I think the statute of limitations is up with that. I had 10,000 downloaded MP3s that I didn't pay for. All because the music industry tried to make me pay $24 for a CD. It was The Clash London Calling that came out. So I tried to buy this in like 2001. And that had come out around, 1980? So that CD, that album had made its money 3 times in 20 years. And they wanted to charge me $24 for a CD. And I realized, I did a little research. What the record industry was doing was they were banking on people like baby boomers that had a little disposable income that wanted to replace their album collection with a CD collection, which a lot of you did. A lot of you did. So they said, you know what? If they want it, they're going to pay for it. And they gave us the big kielbasa. But I got them back. That's a lot of money that I got back. Just because they tried to screw me for one CD. Listen, I would have paid 17. Okay, that would have been reasonable. But not 24. And that $7 makes a big difference. I think you agree with me. All right, let's see. Did you know? And I don't agree with this. I did read over these, and I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just how it's worded. Maybe it's how they look at it. But did you know that Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, made in 1975, is generally regarded as the first official music video ever made? So, official music video. But what were they calling them before that? I'm pretty sure they were calling them music videos. Because there were music videos before 1975. We all know that. So, I don't know. I don't know if they say that's what it is, then that's what it is. Doesn't make sense to me. If you're a hip hop guy or a girl or a rap girl, you know who Flo Rida is. Flo Rida is a rapper out of South Florida. That's what Flo Rida is Florida. Pretty good use of the name Florida, Flo Rida. His song Low, L-O, has sold 8 million copies. That is the exact same amount as the Beatles' Hey Jude. Think of that. Think of that. The Flo Rida, this rapper, pretty popular, but his song Low was sold 8 million copies. That's the exact same amount that Hey Jude by the Beatles is sold. That tells you something. That really speaks volumes as to the direction music has gone. I started listening to rap in the 80s, in the early 80s. Probably, I'd say, around 82, 81, 82. Yeah, when it really, not Rapper's Delight shit. Everybody listened to that. It's a great song. But I kind of listened to it when it started to break, and I kind of watched how it grew and grew, and everyone said, "Oh, this shit isn't going to last." They kind of thought rap was going to be like disco, and it would fade out. But here we are. Here we are. 30 years later, 40 years later. It's going strong. That's definitely not going anywhere. Did you know that Katy Perry holds the same record as Michael Jackson? Who would put those two in the same category? Katy Perry holds the same record as Michael Jackson for the most number one singles off of an album. Do you know how many it is? Take a guess. What is the record for most number one singles off of an album? I'm assuming Thriller was the Michael Jackson album. Well, the number is 5. Most number one singles off an album is 5. And Katy Perry holds that record with Michael Jackson. That's pretty good. Good for you, Katy. Not a fan, but I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift either, but got to give the girls credit. Got to give the girls credit. Let's see. Did you know in 1990, Warner Music purchased the copyright for the song Happy Birthday for $15 million? It is widely known. I saw doo-doo on the wall. Saw doo-doo on the wall. What is Allison? Allison just messaging. I saw doo-doo on the wall. Okay. Okie dokie. In 1990, Warner Music purchased the copyright for the song Happy Birthday for $15 million, widely recognized as the, let me see, as the most recognizable song in the English language. Followed by, okay, that's an interesting trivia question for you guys. If Happy Birthday is recognized as the most popular song in the English language, let me see. That's what Michael Jackson said when he got arrested. I saw doo-doo on the wall. No. Okay. What is the second most popular song in the English language? According to this, the first most recognizable song is Happy Birthday. Most recognized song. What is the second most recognized song in the English language? What do you think it is? We've all heard it. We've all heard it. And I will tell you, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. Although these generations today don't really sing that anymore. So, I don't know. Another factoid I might have to dispute. Let's see. According to research conducted with functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, listening to music recruits the auditory areas and employs large-scale neural networks in the brain. Researchers even believe music can activate emotional, motor, and creative areas in the brain. So why the fuck didn't they just say that right off the bat? Why didn't they just say that right off? You go through all this functional magnetic resonance imaging, listening to, just say, hey, did you know researchers even believe that music can activate emotional, motor, and creative areas in the brain? Just say that. Don't make me read all that bullshit just to get to that. Well, I guess I'm the idiot that read it, so I should have probably cruised through these. I did, though. I did. So much for that. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I believe that music can activate emotional, motor, and creative areas in the brain. See how I just streamlined that? See how I just kind of eliminated all the bullshit, all the big words, all the articulation? I don't know if that fits. It just sounded good to say. But you know what I mean. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to read. You know what? I'm going to read this one first so I can maybe eliminate the bullshit. No, okay. I can read this one. The next one is long. Next one is fucking long. I'll read it though, because I got nothing but time. All right. So, as one of very few artists today that still manages to sell records, Taylor Swift is precious cargo in the music industry, and she is. I give the girl credit. Not bad to look at either. Yeah, I'll be that guy. I'll be misogynistic. She definitely is not bad to look at. She's not as pretty as my wife, Dr. Vera, but she's pretty. That's my opinion. That's just me. Probably the right thing to say. But I don't think I'm lying. I don't think I'm lying. I'm just saying. Anyways, Taylor Swift is precious cargo in the music industry, and the last thing a label would want is a song leak, right? You know, the fucking those bottom dwellers that kind of hang outside studios, right? Try to catch a glimpse and record a glimpse of the music, or a cut, or the whole song. So when Tay-Tay, I guess that's a producer, a video director, a video producer, shot the video for Shake It Off, so he's the director, producers played heavy metal music outside the soundstage to prevent anyone from hearing the song before its release. You know what? She has some pretty fucking smart people around her. She's pretty smart too, business-wise. She learned a lot, that girl. She really did, from when she first broke out to now. She knows the industry, upside down, inside out. She's fighting with one of her old collaborators to get her. He has control of a big chunk of her catalog. I won't even say the guy's name. He's kind of scumbagish. So she's going out and re-recording all her old albums to fight back. She has some pretty smart people. And then this, you know, she's doing a video outside the soundstage, play heavy metal, right? And just kind of kill it. All right, here we go. Okay, this is an interesting. I did read this one, and I always ask people: is it interesting? Do you say interesting or interesting? I hear people actually say it's very interesting. That's interesting. Then I hear people say that's interesting. I don't know. Like I say February because that's the way it's spelled. But everyone goes, "It's what you're saying, February, which is next month." You know, Jack's like, "It's February." I said, no, yeah, there's an R in there. Yeah. Fucking do your homework, buddy. Yeah. Anyways, if you're ever wondering, or if you have ever wondered why radio stations play the same songs over and over, not only because it's kind of, they call it the rotation, right? It's in heavy rotation. Well, if you're ever wondering why they actually did it, this is it. Apparently, familiarity doesn't necessarily breed contempt. According to research from the University of Arkansas, repetition makes us like a song more, or it could make us like a song less. For instance, Right Said Fred, I'm too sexy for my body, right? You heard that more than a couple times, it's fucking driving you crazy. But when you heard Come On Eileen, you're like, I like that song. And then you like it even more. That's how it becomes your favorite song, right? Or your most hated song. So repetition makes us like a song more. Sure, you might think that it's just it just drives you crazy and make you want to, I hate this channel. Or I like. Actually, it makes you want to avoid the song. The bad ones make you avoid it. But science tells us that it makes you like it more. Which I don't think. I think you either like it or you don't. I don't believe in that. This doesn't have all the research that went into it. But I guess, you know what? Okay. Let's look at it this way. There have been songs that I've heard, and I can only speak for myself, and I was like, you know what? It's just an okay song. It's just an okay song. And I think this is what they're talking about. And then you hear it again and again. You go, you know what? That song's really not that bad. I am guilty of this. And then you hear it again and again. You're like, you know what? That's a pretty fucking good song. Next thing you know, I'm buying the CD, or I'm illegally downloading it. I'll stick to buying, keep people off my back. Yeah. So I guess that's one of those things. But I think it's a three-way street. You got to either like it a lot, you don't like it, or, well, okay, I guess you'll tell yourself, but has there ever been a song that you didn't like you're like, I hate that song, and have done a 180, like maybe a couple years later, and then you turn to like what I just said earlier? Yeah, the song's not so bad. Maybe I should have given it a chance. I think I've had that happen a couple times. Yeah. Okay, let's see. These are just kind of factoids now. So, violinist Wallace Hartley once told a friend that should he ever find himself on a sinking ship, he would play Nearer, My God, to Thee. Right? Now, some of you might know where this is going. Little did he know, and I think now you've already kind of caught on to this, that he would do exactly that, along with 7 other musicians, as the, yes, you guessed it, Titanic sank beneath their feet, and people around them pushed and shoved to get to lifeboats. I've never seen the movie. I don't have any desire to ever see the movie. But I think you probably, if you've seen the movies, I suppose they covered this. He initially didn't want to accept the gig as bandmaster for the Titanic, as he'd just proposed to his fiancée and didn't want to leave her. This just keeps getting sadder. He was, however, persuaded by the idea that he might get future work out of this opportunity. Makes sense. Unfortunately, Hartley's body was discovered 2 weeks after the sinking of the Titanic, fully dressed and with his music case strapped around his body. That is it's kind of cool, but it's sad, right? But yeah. Now another music group, the London Symphony Orchestra, narrowly avoided that disaster. They were booked to travel on the Titanic to New York for a new tour, but when the schedule changed at the last minute, The orchestra ended up on the RMS Baltic instead. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty good for that dude. Like, he went down the way he wanted to go. You know, in his fucking tuxedo. And had his instrument with him. He made sure he didn't lose that thing. Although I think I'm looking at it in a very romantic way, but I think the motherfucker was just trying to survive. I think he was using that as a flotation device. You really want to get real. Like, I can't play this thing anymore, but I can float on it. I don't know. I like my first story better. It has a better feel to it. Yeah. Let's see. Songs can be uplifting, inspiring, tear-inducing, and even cause you to jump and dance around. Or dance and jump around, jump up, and jump down. Ah, see, I said it. Yeah. However, there are some songs that are downright terrifying and difficult to listen to. Let's go back to, for 1 second, Dave Phillips has commented in, saying some songs get way overplayed, like Stairway to Heaven, Dream On. Well, those are songs, and I'm going to get to this point because this is kind of a weird little factoid. But those songs are overplayed. They were great at first, though. You liked them from the beginning. Well, most people like those songs from the beginning. But yeah, after 40 years, 45 years of hearing that shit, 50 years, some songs, you're like, yeah, I'm done with that. I don't know when the last time I listened to Dream On was. I won't listen to Bohemian Rhapsody. I just won't. Truth be told, not the hugest Queen fan. Just not. I liked them as a kid because everybody else liked them. And they had great songs, great music. But as I get older, I was kind of like, yeah. And I look at them today like, yeah, you know. All right, back to this one. Like I said, I'll repeat it. Songs can be uplifting, inspiring, tear-inducing, and even cause you to dance and jump around. However, there are some songs that are downright terrifying and difficult to listen to. A song called Frankie Teardrop by a group called Suicide, released in 1977, is an example of such a song. Now, I know some of you sick motherfuckers are going to go out there and try to track this song down. I know you are, because I am. I know that. This is something like you have to do now. So the name of the song is Frankie Teardrop, and it's by Suicide, a group called Suicide. It came out in 77. It's an example of such a song. The lyrics tell the story of a poor young father and factory worker. He's a factory worker who cannot deal with how destitute his existence has become. He then murders his wife and child before committing suicide and going to hell. Oh. I don't know. Singer Alan Vega provided the screams that can be heard on the track, creating a very chilling atmosphere. The song was featured in a radio segment and called the Frankie Teardrop Challenge. Radio host and comedian Tom Shopling would challenge listeners to listen to the song at night while alone in the most creatively terrifying situations they can think of. So you're setting yourself up. You have to really put yourself in a moment and then put this song on. Then they were invited to phone in and recount their experiences. I'm gonna have to listen to this fucking song. I don't know if I'm gonna put myself in a bad situation and listen to it. I don't know. I don't think so. But I probably would. Just so, it's a sacrifice for the show. But I'll fuck myself up. I don't want to do that. I got fucking PTSD as it is. I don't need that shit. What am I talking about? Jesus Christ. Anyways, they were invited to phone in and recount their experiences. Very few of the listeners made it through the 10 plus minutes of the track. So this is 10 minutes of just absolutely fucking bottom of the barrel depression about a dude who doesn't like his existence. He's not happy with his life, so he kills his wife, his child, and himself. And this fucker wrote a song about it. This group wrote a song. Oh, man. Like, in the name of the group is suicide. So do you think that they were really kind of trying to put a subliminal message out there? We're a group called Suicide, and, we're going to kind of help you along. We're going to help you along the way. Going to give you a little push to the edge. Oof. Oof. So again, you sick bastards out there, the name of the song is Frankie Teardrop, and it's by a group called Suicide, and it came out in 1977. You know what? Hold on. I don't care. I'm live. Where's my phone? Here we go. So I'm going to go on right now. I'm going to go on Amazon. Go on music. Amazon. Let's go on. Here we go. Music. And I'm going to type in Frankie Teardrop. There it is, Frankie Teardrop by Suicide. Oh, it's the 2019 remix. It's this remix. Oh Lord. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I should play this. Let me see. Oh boy.
He's married, he's got a kid. And he's working in a factory.
Didn't I already say that?
He's working from 7 to 5.
All right. It's just fucking noise.
He's trying to survive.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to get this. I think it's there. It's there. If you want to listen to it, it's there. Does sound a little weird. That's 10 minutes of that. I don't know how talented the guy really is. Frankie Teardrop works in a factory. We're 7 to 5. Anybody can write that shit, right? All right, let's see. So, AC/DC, this is about AC/DC. The band was named after Malcolm and Angus Young's, after their sister saw the initials AC/DC on a sewing machine. I think we knew that. Their sister was also instrumental in coming up with Angus's schoolboy uniform. Maybe you knew that. He had tried a Superman, Spider-Man, and even a gorilla costume. Till his sister was like, put this on. In 1977, hey, the same year Frankie Teardrop came out by Suicide. How coincidental. In 1977, the guitar amplifier used by Angus caught fire during a studio recording of Let There Be Rock. Malcolm urged his brother, right, Malcolm Young, urged his brother Angus to keep playing regardless. So Angus said, sure. So he fucking played, so the amplifier caught on fire. That's crazy. But wait, there's more. It happened again. Happened again during Rock or Bust. And Angus, once again, just kept playing. He thought it was a glow from a cigarette. He wasn't paying attention. This had long been considered a myth, but was confirmed by Angus himself during an interview in 2014. Yeah. Now, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, then you probably know most of this story. I would assume you do. But I don't know if you know how many, like the little aspects of it. So, as they say, Led Zeppelin's music has been long fodder for conspiracy theorists who claim that founder and guitarist Jimmy Page sold his soul to the devil for long-lasting fame and fortune. All right, this conspiracy gained traction in the 70s, the early 70s, when Page bought occultist Aleister Crowley's former Scotland home in 1971. Jimmy Page was an Aleister Crowley fan and had Crowley's Do What Thou Wilt and So Mote It Be inscribed in the runoff groove of the Led Zeppelin 3 vinyl records, as I call it, the Dead Wax. So I have a copy right behind me. It's behind that Larry Bird jersey and next to my Led Zeppelin 3 pinball machine. I'm going to check that out. So it has that inscribed in what they call it the runoff. I call it the Dead Wax. So it's believed that Jimmy Page asked his bandmates to join him in a magic ritual inspired by Crowley's writings. Two out of the other three band members participated, except for bassist and keyboardist, and probably the most talented guy in the band, John Paul Jones. He's like, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. In 1972, Page signed up to do the soundtrack for the movie Lucifer Rising. Page and the filmmaker Kenneth Anger allegedly had a very intense relationship, but the two parted ways in 1975. Rumors abounded that Anger, the filmmaker, who was a magic practitioner, put a curse on Led Zeppelin and Jimmy Page. And this curse was blamed in part for the trouble that befell the band's members soon after. This included a car accident involving Robert Plant, an illness, rioting fans, and several fights. Didn't Robert Plant's son die? I think, his young son. And that became part of their cursed, or they made a deal with the devil stuff. I remember hearing all about that stuff back in the 70s. But well, there you go. Don't fuck with Ouija boards and fuck with magic. Shit'll get you. Can't escape it. And this is an interesting little story. I'd never heard this before. I mean, there's a lot I haven't heard. I'm not making it sound like, ooh, I've never heard this one, but I've heard a lot. I know a lot, I think. And this one, I've never even heard an inkling of this story. So, as it goes, when Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart crossed paths with Van Halen in 1979, the brothers, Eddie and Alex, were at the height of their wild and crazy days. Nancy, in Hart's just-released memoir, says the pair even propositioned her and her sister. A little brother and sister action, huh? The Wilsons, Nancy says in Kicking and Dreaming, the story of Hart, soul, rock and roll, Bill Demurred. Demurred and the conversation. Let me see. So they were talking. They were at a hotel while on tour, and apparently soon after, the conversation turned to music. During a separate discussion about Nancy's guitar playing, Eddie Van Halen revealed that he didn't own an acoustic guitar. Right? Hold on one second. So he learned that he didn't. He told her, I don't own an acoustic. Imagine that. That's pretty crazy. Considering, I believe on Van Halen 2, there's some acoustic guitar on there. So anyways, maybe it was Nancy Wilson's. So Nancy Wilson couldn't believe it that a player of his caliber didn't have an acoustic guitar. So in a moment of charity, she handed Eddie Van Halen her acoustic guitar as a gift. She said Eddie was overcome with emotion after returning to his room, and he evidently went on an alcohol-fueled composing session. He called her room at 7 a.m. to present a newly written song dedicated to her. Nancy Wilson describes the, quote, truly amazing song as a lengthy suite. Van Halen, Eddie was playing the song from a hotel room so close that she could hear it both on the phone and down the hall. Soon, however, the line went dead and ended up, Eddie evidently passed out. Right? She said, I don't know if he ever played the song again, or even if, when he sobered up, he remembered anything about the night. Except that he and Alex didn't manage to take the Wilson sisters to bed. But she said, it was the best thing I ever heard Eddie Van Halen play. I only wish I could hear it again. That's a pretty fucking cool story. So you can take that one with you. If I was taking anything out of this episode, take that one with you. The time Nancy Wilson gave Eddie Van Halen her acoustic guitar, they were just sitting there, rapping, shooting the shit. She gives him the guitar because he said he didn't have one. Then he goes and writes her a song, calls her at 7 a.m, wakes her up, plays the song. She can hear it on the phone and down the hall. And then he passes out. It's so rock and roll, ain't it? Yeah. And I don't think he ever played it. I mean, I've never heard that story. That's a pretty cool fucking story. So like I said, take that one with you. Take that one with you. This one goes out to my buddy Mark Smith from the Music Relish podcast. He is a big Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan. Let me see. I don't have a glass. The ting, I know. I'll do some. That's my coffee mug. He usually tings his glass when he says that. He likes his white wine, I guess. So prog rock is Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Boy, they knew how to tour. In 1977, and now you got to think the 70s was the excess of touring. They didn't even know. Touring really became a thing in the 70s, if you think about it. Touring really became a thing. And bands were really hitting the road because that's what I think they figured out where the money was. So Emerson, Lake and Palmer goes on tour in 77. They had 63 roadies, which by today's standards probably isn't a lot, including a karate instructor for drummer Carl Palmer and the band's own doctor. It's rumored they also had a carpet roadie whose job it was to transport and sweep the Persian rug that Greg Lake stood on during the shows. Oh, yeah. And they had a 70-piece orchestra that joined. Oh, man. So that's your Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Did You Know? My buddy Mark Smith from the Music Relish podcast. All right, let's get into this. All right, I'm an hour and 24 in. Oh, wow. All right. It's time to do top 10. The top 10 this week in 2002. So number 10 this week in 2002. Where were you in 2002? What were you doing? Where was your life? Think about that. I was raising kids. Busting my ass. Busting my ass. For them damn kids. God damn it. Number 10 this week in 2002, A Woman's Worth by Alicia Keys. That girl has had staying power. I give her credit too. She has staying power. She's still kicking it around, still putting out good music, making that money, honey. Oh, look at that. My misogynism comes out again. Yeah, I called her honey, and I called my friend Allison babe. So what? Don't listen. Don't like it. Anyways. Number 9 this week in 2002, Differences by Genuine. That was the guy that came and went. Number 8 this week in 2002, Hero by, I actually like this dude. I actually like this dude's music. Enrique Iglesias. Enrique Iglesias. I actually kind of like his music out of all those Latin dudes that kicked in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, Mark Anthony's and the other dude and this dude and that dude and the Jennifer Lopez dude at, you know, all the Latin, big Latin push. I like Enrique Iglesias. I suppose he's married to Anna Kournikova. Not really bad to look at. So anyways, I'm going to tell this story. There's some women out there that might not like it, but I'm going to tell it anyways. Number 7 this week in 2002, Whenever, Wherever by Shakira. So I asked my son one time, probably around early 2000, I said, who was it? It was, I asked him, if you could marry, if you had a choice to marry Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, or Shakira, who would you marry? And he said, Britney Spears. I said, oh, okay. So you know who I would marry? He says, who? I said, Shakira. You know why? Because she's not American. I said, that's your lesson, son. Yeah, okay. That's just being honest. Being honest. Anyways, number 6 this week in 2002, My Sacrifice by Creed. Flash in the pan. Number 5 this week in 2002, Always on Time by Ja Rule featuring Ashanti. Number 4 this week in 2002, Get the Party Started by Pink. She's still kicking around. I'm not a big fan, but she's still kicking around. She's still making that money. She got her legacy. Number 3 this week in 2002, Family Affair by the Queen of Soul, Mary J. Blige. This Mary J. Blige, get it right. She's the man. Mary J. Hear what anybody says. Number 2 this week in 2002, You Got It Bad by Usher. And number 1 this week in 2002, How You Remind Me by the how can I put this, the perpetual rock band Joke. I don't know why the people crack on them. I don't know why people disrespect it. I don't know why they are the brunt of music jokes. But number 1 this week in 2002, How You Remind Me by Nickelback. Nickelback gets the shit kicked out of them. People, critics just, they are like always, they're a joke to some, but they're still playing. They're still out there. Nickelback. I wasn't a fan, but hey, they had a couple good songs. I don't own any of their music. Let's see. This day in music. There we go. I'm gonna check it. Nah, I'm not gonna read that one. The Beatles, we don't care. Jimi Hendrix. On this day in 1967, the Jimi Hendrix Experience played the first of what would be over 240 gigs in that year when they appeared at the Bromley Club in Bromley. That must have been England. Many of the shows were 2 shows per night. Wow. On this day in 1967, the Doors released their self-titled debut album, The Doors. Easily considered one of the greatest debut albums of all time. There's not even an argument there. Although I know some people that don't like the Doors, but you still easily consider it one of the greatest debut albums of all time. The album featured their breakthrough single, Light My Fire, which I love that version of the song, but I also love Jose Feliciano's version of that song. That's a great fucking cover. I've said that a number of times on this song. Light My Fire and their lengthy song, The End. All right. The album was recorded at Sunset Sound Studios in Hollywood, California, over 6 days. They put that shit out in 6 days. Fucking bands today can't do a song in 6 months. And unique packaging of the album included each band member's bio. When albums were your biggest source of information. Sitting in that beanbag, listening to the headphone with the headphones on, studying that album cover, studying those lyrics, everything. You knew it inside and out, upside down, and right side up. On this day in 1968, the University of California, Los Angeles announced that students taking music degrees would have to study the music of what group? They would have to study the music of what group? I bet you're saying the Beatles. Nope. The Rolling Stones. Yeah, saying they made such an important contribution to modern music. Okay. I'm not going to read that on the Beatles. I don't care. On this day in 1970, chauffeur Neil Boland was accidentally killed when the Who's drummer Keith Moon ran him over in his Bentley. Moon was trying to escape from a gang of skinheads after a fight broke out at a pub in Hatfield, England. Boland got out to try to protect the car, but left it in gear. He fell under the car, and it started moving, with Moon at the wheel as he tried to escape the fight. The drummer had never passed his driving test. My police mind tells me he punched the gas. And whether he knew or not, that dude was under the car. He wasn't just sitting behind the wheel when the car was rolling. Nope. Anyways, sad story. On this day in 1970, the Beatles, without John Lennon, re-recorded vocals and a new guitar solo on the Paul McCartney song Let It Be at Studio 2, EMI Studios in London. The session will be the final studio appearance for the Beatles as a group. The final date that all 4 of the Beatles were in the studio together is August 20th, 1969. All right. On this day in 1974, Bruce Springsteen played the first of a 3-night run at Joe's Place in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Supported by Peter Johnson and the Manic Depressives. On the ticket, it stated, because of the energy crisis, all of our outside lights, except for one, will be shut off. See, we lived through the energy crisis. That, people remember that. Baby boomers remember the energy crisis. Yeah. Times were tough back then. Shit today, it all cycles around. I've been saying that. What we're living through in the last 3 years is the fucking 60s and the early 70s on steroids. It all cycled around. The social media gives it, that's the steroid. On this day in 1975, Elton John started a two-week run at number one on the U.S. singles charts with, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Third U.S. number one song. Featured John Lennon on guitar. Did you know that? On this day in 1977, the Sex Pistols shocked passengers and airline staff at Heathrow Airport when they spat and vomited boarding a plane to Amsterdam. Oh, Jesus. It was a sad day on this day in 1986. Irish singer, songwriter, and bassist Phil Lynott of Thin Lizzy died of heart failure and pneumonia after being in a coma for 8 days following a drug overdose. With Thin Lizzy, he had the 1973 hit Whiskey in the Jar, the version of a traditional Irish song, and hits with The Boys Are Back in Town and Jailbreak and Waiting for an Alibi. The group's 1978 album, Live and Dangerous, spent 62 weeks on the UK chart. Lynott fronted several bands as a lead vocalist, including Skid Row alongside Gary Moore. A life-size bronze statue of Phil Lynott was unveiled on Harry Street in Dublin, Ireland in 2005. That's pretty cool. On this day in 2001, U.S. rapper Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle, spent the night in jail after allegedly ripping out some of his wife's hair. He told police he pulled out some of his wife's hair to prevent her from jumping out of their truck's window. I guess that's a story. He was released the following morning from Broward County Jail in Fort Lauderdale. On this day in 2001, Courtney Love, filed a lawsuit against her alleged stalker, claiming that Leslie Barber, the ex-wife of her current boyfriend at the time, Jim Barber, drove over her foot. This had forced her to forfeit her role in the forthcoming film. It doesn't say which one. Anyways, speaking of my girl Britney, on this day in 2004, Britney Spears had her surprise marriage annulled less than 55 hours after tying the knot with the Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas with childhood friend Jason Alexander, not the Seinfeld guy. The couple married on a Saturday morning, blah, 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 blah. She ended up saying for the annulment that she lacked understanding of her actions to the extent that she was incapacitated or incapable of agreeing to the marriage. Whatever. On this day in 2005, the owner of a recording studio where Eminem recorded his Slim Shady LP was found shot dead. AJ Abdallah, who was 36, was discovered by a business colleague at the Detroit studio. It was thought he had been dead for at least 2 days. Woof! Stinking like Lincoln. Police suggested that a robbery may have also taken place, but Mr. Abdallah had lived in an apartment above the studio on 8 Mile Road. Speaking of my buddy John Cash, this one in 2006, the house where Johnny Cash lived for 35 years was bought by Bee Gees singer Barry Gibb. The rustic house in Nashville, Tennessee went on the market in June 2005 with an asking price of $2.9 million. I think that thing is up for sale again. I think it's up for sale again. I saw something about that. On this day in 2008, our girl Britney was carried out of her home on a stretcher and taken into custody after police were called in a dispute involving her children. Police were called to a Spears home over a family custodial dispute that they tried to resolve. After nearly 3 hours, Spears handed over her children, 2-year-old Sean Preston and 1-year-old Jaden James, to their ex-husband, Kevin Federline. He milked that cow for a lot of money. On this day in 2008, Beyonce won a long-running legal wrangle over claims her hit song Baby Boy infringed on copyrights, and nobody cares. On this day in 2009, Led Zeppelin singer Robert Plant was voted greatest voice in rock by listeners of radio station Planet Rock. Plant beat out Freddie Mercury, Paul Rodgers, and Deep Purple's Ian Gillan, the top spot. Can't argue with that. On this day in 2011, it was a sad day. Scottish singer, songwriter Jerry Rafferty died at age 63 after a long illness. Rafferty had been a member of Steelers Wheel, who had the 1973 hit Stuck in the Middle with You, and had solo 1978 single Baker Street, which was a hit in the UK and the US. On this day in 2016, Robert Stigwood, an Australian-born British resident, music entrepreneur, film producer, and impresario, Robert Stigwood died at the age of 81. He was best known for managing Cream and the Bee Gees. Let me see. He also did theatrical productions like Hair and Jesus Christ Superstar. And he did, including his hugely successful Grease and Saturday Night Fever. All right. On this day in 2020, Miley Cyrus, she's fucking irritating. Her voice is just, I don't know what they heard. Her voice. I heard her the other day. What was she singing? Oh, she did a duet with somebody. It's fucking horrible. This is where I usually take notes of this stuff when I come across it. I usually take notes for the show. But it was fucking horrible. Whatever. Miley Cyrus reached a settlement in the $300 million copyright infringement lawsuit that accused the singer of stealing her 2013 hit We Can't Stop. Someone says she stole the lawsuit filed in a place that nobody cares. Anyways, birthdays. Almost done here. Let's start. I'm going to start from the back and go forward. I'm just going to scroll through. John Gordon. Nope. Billy Mickey Stevenson. Nope. John McLaughlin. Nope. Arthur Conley. Sweet Soul Music. Nope. Not this guy. Not that guy. Not this guy. Nope, not that guy. Oh, born in this day in 1956. Bernard Sumner, guitar, vocals for Warsaw and Joy Division, right? And also New Order and electronic with him and Johnny fucking Marr, the great Johnny fucking Marr. Let me see. This guy, no. On this day in born on this day in 1958, American musician Lorna Doom. Not to be confused with Lorna Doone cookies, because those are good. She was the bass guitarist for the punk rock band The Germs. Their music was influential to many later punk rock acts. The Germs guitarist Pat Smear went on to achieve greater fame performing with Nirvana and Foo Fighters. Lorna Doom died on January 16th, 2019, of cancer at the age of 61. Okay. Born on this day in 1960, Michael Stipe, American singer-songwriter from REM. Let's see. Nope. Dave Gosser. Peter Ridden. Yep, okay. Born in this day in 1965, Kate O'Riordan from the Irish-British Celtic band The Pogues. There was a lot of interweaving on this show tonight. Talked about the Pogues at the beginning. Yeah. From the band The Pogues, scored 1987 UK number 8 single, The Irish Rover, and 1987 UK number 2 single with Christy McCall, Fairy Tale of New York. Kate O'Riordan, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1965, Beth Gibbons, vocals for Portishead. I don't know if you've ever listened to Portishead. They are a pretty fucking unique group, man. What a sound. I kind of look at it like David Lynch type music. You know, if you're into it, if you're a David Lynch fan, movie fan. Tim Wheeler, guitars. And that's it. That's it. I'm done. Finished. Kaput. Hour and 45 minutes. I did it. Solo. So all right, listen. I'm gonna get this over with real fast. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. If you're watching on YouTube, you come across this, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're usually on Wednesday nights. Next week, we're going to be on Tuesday night. I have to fly to the motherland on Wednesday. Bill Green says, great show. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Wild Bill Green on YouTube. Check him out. Yeah, we're going to be doing it on Tuesday. Jack should be here on Tuesday because I have to go to the motherland. Say good night, Alice. Good night, Alice. Daniel Basham. Good night, Alice. So yeah, next Tuesday night, not Wednesday night. Only to the live streamers, the people that watch the live stream. But it's always there to watch. Anyways. Like I always say, thank you for your support. You guys are the engine that runs this machine. Going on year 3, starting year 3. You are the engine that runs this machine. Without you, it would just be me talking to myself tonight. And well, I do that every once in a while anyways. There's no problem with talking to yourself as long as you don't answer yourself. Then you got a problem. Anyways, like I always say, doing this show for you, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, the pleasure, the privilege is mine. I will see you guys next Tuesday night. And again, thank you for the people that have been around for the last 2 years. Going into year 3, there's no end in sight. I have no intention of stopping this. I'm just going to keep updating this every year. That the podcast is making it a little better. Even during the year, little fixes, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. You know how to get in touch with me on Facebook or Twitter, however you want to get in touch with me. On Twitter, it is Milk Crates and Turntables Podcast. Yeah, YouTube channel, Milk Crates and Turntables. And that's about it, people. Thank you again.